In this video, I want to show you how to create a transparent plastic jar in Blender. We can see some objects in this jar, and I am showing it in cycle mode. So if you want to know these tips to stay with us, come in Blender and take a circle mesh from Add menu. By this, we will create a jar. Then go to Edit mode by pressing Tab button. Now we can create more vertex point by extruding. Press E and Z to extrude to Z-axis and press S to bigger it a little bit. Then press again E and Z to extrude. Extrude again and scale a little bit. We are making a design of bottom of the jar. And now extrude again to along the Z-axis. This face is body of the jar. Now extrude some and smaller some. I am extruding again and again to create a head of the jar. So keep watching. Okay, now we can see a jar shape. If we go to Object mode, we can see a perfect model. Go to Edit mode again by pressing Tab button and select the circle of the jar by holding Alt button and click Face menu to fill the grids. We can see the all vertex are filled. And now if we go to Object mode, we can see a perfect model of the jar. Now we separate this mid-eye face to make a banner for the jar. After we can add a texture on it. So select it and duplicate by pressing Shift and D key. Then move it to X-axis and press P to separate it from the jar. Small it some along the Z-axis. Okay. Now we will duplicate and separate the top face of the jar. Select it and duplicate it pressing Shift and D key, move it and separate from the jar. Now we will create a screw for the top of jar. For this, add a plane mesh and move it like this. Rotate it to 90 degrees. Go to Edit mode and select left vertex to smaller. Now select right vertex and press Delete button from your keyboard. Then delete face and edges. Select again right vertex and press E to extrude, then press S to scale it. Go to Object mode and open this menu, select Origin. Turn on Magnet and select Vertex. Move to right this and open this menu, uncheck Origin. Then go to Add Modifier and add Screw Modifier. Go to Object, then open Apply, click to rotate. Now adjust the screw from right side of the viewport. Here increase the number to smooth and increase degree to make a screw model. Follow this setting. Increase sample to render. We can see a screw, scale it to Z-axis for better adjustment. And now move it and set up on top of the jar. And must turn of the magnet. Otherwise, you cannot set it perfectly. So set it on top of the jar perfectly. We can see the screw is not set perfectly, so we add a circle mesh on it for best looking. Add a circle on it and open Edit mode. Extrude some, then come to Object mode and add Solidify modifier. Increase thickness from this menu. Okay, perfect. Set it perfectly. Okay, look smooth. Now fill the cap. Select the cap and go to Edit mode. Select top vertex by pressing Alt key. And go to Face menu, then click to fill grid. We can see the cap is perfect. Now come to Object mode and add Solidify modifier. Increase some thickness. Okay, perfect. Now set it on the jar perfectly. Okay, I am adding a background for a view setup. So I add a plane shape and go to Edit Mode, create some subdivision and just make a background like this. Now go to Render Mode to Lighting Setup and Texturing. Add a light from Add menu and set it to Angle. I am setting a best angle. OK, now move the cap to above the jar to add material perfectly. Select the jar and take a new material. Increase metallic and follow this setting to create transparent material. Select Blending Mode to Alpha Blend and select the second mode to Alpha Clip. Increase roughness about 50%. And when we increase and decrease alpha, we can see a transparent effect. I am taking it. We can see a perfect plastic effect of the jar. Now we can color the cap. Select the cap and choose your favorite color. I am taking this color. OK. Now add a new light to look brighten. I am taking a spotlight and I am taking a dark color for background to nice view. Move the spotlight a bit. And finally, we can see a plastic effect on our jar. If we enter some objects, then we can see the realistic view of the jar. In this way, we can create a transparent plastic jar in Blender. Guys must subscribe to learn more.